So I wanted to do this video for a while, and that is the book, the review of the Book of Thoth. So if you are thinking of learning about the Thoth method with the Thoth tarot, then you might want to watch this video. So in a previous video I did, I forget which one it was, but I talked about the Marseille's tarot, which I will review this book. I just got done going over this book. I did the Thoth before, a while back, but I didn't get to shoot this video because I had become HBC, homeless by choice. While I was waiting to get into this new apartment, I was living in my car for 3 months, okay, by choice. So anyway, I described the Marseille's tarot as kind of like, you know, elementary math. And then there's the RIDER-WAITE tarot, which is maybe a step up. They have some symbolism, you know, in the tarot. They use some symbolism because RIDER-WAITE was part. WAITE was part of the Golden Dawn group, just like Aleister Crowley was part of the Golden Dawn group. And how I describe the Thoth would be like master level, you know, physics or algebra, beyond algebra, you know, master level tarot. So I wouldn't necessarily use the Thoth to do readings with. Now I may change that in the future. I've studied the deck. I have not used it for readings as of yet. I got the littler version. They say it's better to get the big version so that you could see things better. But I have a hard time shuffling as it is. So here's just some of the pictures. They do call Judgment Aeon, because judgment is in their mind, in Thoth, in Crowley's mind, is about time, you know, the day of judgment. So this is the sun in this deck. So this is the Thoth deck. This is the moon, you know, this is the star. I mean, it's a stretch to say it resembles RIDER-WAITE. This is the Four of Cups. I mean, if you know tarot really well, you know, I can see it. But and it is a pip deck. Okay, so that's the Ten of Cups. Let me see if I can find. Here's this is the Four of Wands. Strife, the Five of Swords, you know, and it gives a word, victory. The Six of Wands. Okay, so that's kind of nice. It gives a word. So, you know, and I don't know, just looking at it, you know, I put off getting this deck because I wasn't really drawn to it. So I'm not quite sure what I'll use this deck for, the Aleister Crowley Thoth deck. And this is the one with the purple box. I don't know if that makes any difference, but the other box I've seen is blue. Now if I do use this for anything, I may just use it kind of as like an oracle, but I'm not sure. But I did get, you know, because I have families of decks that go together, like a main tarot deck, the clarifier, and then an oracle. So I guess you'd say the oracle, I kind of got the kipper to go with it, because Yeah, I mean, it kind of, I might trim it, but sort of kind of goes like color-wise with the Thoth deck. But I haven't used either yet. But talking about this book, some people have said that it's hard to understand. I didn't find it hard to understand. There were a few places, and let me see if I can find it. I did a lot of underlining. Okay, yeah, this was the place. So there was this place here where he talks about the Naples Agreement on page 32. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. 61 equals 0. 61 plus 146 equals 0. 1 is the point. 3 is the abyss. 5 is motion, is time. I put a question mark on that page because he lost me there. The rest of the stuff he didn't really lose me at. I did underline a lot. He talks about a lot of symbolism. Like on this page, he says the dove is the bird of Venus. The dove is also the symbol of the Holy Ghost. You know, in general, we think of dove as peace and love. He talks about the green man produces a phenomena of spring. There's also connection with the idea of irresponsibility. And starry dreams, you know. So let me just see what else. As far as the book goes, as far as understanding it, let me see if I have any other places that I put a question mark. I think there was only 2 places in this book that I put a question mark, where I was like, what the hell is he on? What is he smoking? Okay. He talks about, wait, hang on. Okay, here's a question mark. When he's talking about the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Discs, he calls it. He says, he's relating it to hay. There's different letters in God's name, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But with regards to the Ace of Pentacles, he says it's the daughter. Okay, he says the daughter is set upon the throne. Hay is the final daughter. There's 2 hays in the name of God, but the daughter is set upon the throne of the mother to awaken the elder of the All-Father. So this is on page 210. So I have to reread that, because at first I'm like, is there incest going on? Because there's the alphabet in his name of God, and it is, let me see if it's on this sheet. I know I'm sounding scattered. maybe that's because that's what happens when you read Thoth, the Aleister Crowley's book. Okay, it's the Tetragrammaton, the sacred name of God, and the different letters associated with his name. Okay, Yod, Hey, Vav, and Hey. So okay, I don't want to confuse you. So anyway, it's kind of, it's not confusing. I don't know. I'm trying not to jump too far ahead. But anyway, so he says that the Ace of Pentacles is this princess who's put on the throne as a younger version of the queen to awaken the father to start the cycle of life, to impregnate the younger woman again. Like, okay, so anyway. And then on the next page, 211, in the center of all is yet another tetragrammaton, the phallus, which is the, male part, with the number 666, with the seven sevens adding to 156. Babylon. Okay, 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 30 plus 70 plus 50 plus equals 7 plus 7 divided by 7 plus 7 plus 7 equals 156. The magic square of 6 adds to 666. Okay. That, this page, I think anytime he does numbers, because wasn't that other page about numbers, I get a little lost. However, the master of the Therion, Therion means beast, okay? And some have likened it to the beast as being Satan, the devil. 666 is what some people say. However, the master beast, this is the master beast, like the advanced level course, because Crowley has been called the beast. I think even Jung, he said it. I read somewhere that he was called the beast. Okay, so he's just a different character and thinks differently. So that's where the 666 comes from. And the Therion is also related to 666. So I will definitely have to reread this book. I read it a while ago, but I wanted to come on and give you my review. So I didn't really have trouble with it, but I know the tarot and Lenormand, and I really like the Simulon deck, different kind of decks that I'm looking at, all my different, I use Cartomancy, so I'm hip to all that. So maybe that's why this book didn't, bother me too much. With all that being said, so if you want to start your journey on the Thoth, okay, maybe prior to starting, what you should do, because this is what you're going to need to know to work with a Thoth deck. You're going to need to know numerology, what 3 of things means, what 4 of things means, what if there's 5 and a 5, a card, a 5 of wands and a 5 of swords, what does the 5 mean? What do those mean in numerology? So the amount of objects, the amount of things mean something. There's no coincidences, okay? Everything is symbolic. I believe with Crowley. Colors, you're going to need to know colors. You're going to need to know what colors mean. Yellow, of course, is the sun. Let me see here. This is my book of all my studies, and I probably am going to make a book out of this. I was using notebooks, spiral notebooks, but I was getting so many of them, and then I started to narrow down things, just taking out highlights, because I have the zodiacs here, I have aces, I have colors. I have, you know, sex magic, which Crowley is also, he thinks everything is about sex. So you might want to, I didn't really study that kind of stuff, but you might want to know a little bit about that. But that just comes from our animal desires. Okay, everything's an animalistic sexual desire. And you know, I did see that in the Marseilles. Let me get it here. In the Marseilles deck. And when I read their book, which I thought, again, like I said, that was like grammar math. But this book, which I'll do a review on, it does talk very, has a lot of sexual connotation too. So he talks about sexual things. But, so you're going to need to know your colors. Like red is the root chakra. So you might need to know your chakras also. The chakra system. So red is Mars. It's the root chakra. Orange is Mercury. It's the sacral chakra. Red is pain, passion. Orange is playfulness. It can be reaping what you sow. Yellow is the solar plex. It's Jupiter. It's fight or flight. It's so they you know, you always think the sun is yellow, but according to this, basically the sun is orange because it's playful and happy is orange. Yellow is fight or flight, moods, caution. Green is the heart chakra, Venus, love, growth. We kind of all know that if you know tarot. So you're going to need to know your colors. You're going to need to know numerology, your colors. If you want to check into the sex connotation stuff, have at it. You need to know the zodiacs. You need to know the planets. Okay, and I just hope I'm not forgetting anything. But the biggest thing you need to know if you're going to start the Thoth tarot and use it, or for yourself or for others, is you need to understand this. This is the Kabbalah. This is the tree of life. Everything with Thoth comes to this. Okay, it is the tree of life. There's 10 spears, and each spear, not each spear because there's 10 spears, but there's only 7 chakras. So a certain spear relates to a chakra. A certain spear relates to an archangel. A certain spear relates to the tree of life is our ascension up, back to heaven. So we are here on earth and we ascend up to reach heaven, okay, let's just say, or as close as we can be without dying, reaching our spiritual connection with the divine, which people call enlightenment. Now, another thing is, and I heard some other YouTube say this, and this is actually so true. Even though you become enlightened, I was like enlightened. I was going to pull my jacket back down. There are times when you regress. You regress. It's not that you're not enlightened anymore, but you become disconnected. When I was living in my car, I was very divinely guided. I was very divinely protected. And I just led by faith. I walked blindly by faith. And when I came into this apartment, you know, it took me about a month to re-ground myself and reconnect with my spirituality. So in life we have ups and downs, okay? And even though if I'm a spiritual person or enlightened person or have my connections, doesn't mean that I'm always on. The light's not always on, because life happens and sometimes things can get in our way, trauma, whatever, and cloud us for a moment. So I do feel much better now that I'm settled and re-entering my journey, my path forward. So you do need to understand the tree of life, which is called the Kabbalah, spelled different ways depending on what religion it is. Sometimes spelled with a Q, sometimes spelled with a K, sometimes spelled with a C. It's all the same thing. It also comes from the Hebrew alphabet, which relates to the paths on the Kabbalah. There's 22 paths. There's 10 spheres, which are those circles, and there's 22 paths. The major arcanas are the 22 paths of our life, you know, that we kind of cross through. We cross through a tower moment. We cross through loss with the death card, or a major trauma that's transformed us. Doesn't have to be a death of someone we loved. We cross through the lovers of loving another, loving ourselves. We cross through justice, of seeing justice served, getting our own justice, or having justice served on us for things that we've done. The wheel of fortune is actually time, it's seasons, it's the cycles of life. It can also be karma, you know, getting your good or your bad karma. The universe is the tree of life. The universe is the world, the universe, everything in it, everything that's living, breathing, moving, that grows, just everything that's a piece of matter with atoms and nucleus and nuclei and whatever, you know. I'm not a scientist, so you know what I mean. It's all energy, and we are here on earth to learn lessons. Now, I never really thought of it much or believed. Not that I didn't believe, because I don't not believe in things, because who am I to say? Like, who am I to say about things? But I didn't really take a lot of thought to reincarnation until I became enlightened and spiritually connected, let's just say. But I do believe in reincarnation, and I do believe that we are here to learn lessons. And the lessons that we don't learn this time around, we go to heaven, and there's a whole way that I view what happens in heaven. We come back and relearn these lessons, or try to complete them again. So I also have a view of hell and all that, but that's for another day. Well, whenever I put my book out. But so now, what I was confused about, just as a note, just in case anyone else is confused, because I'm not like a real stupid person, but I was confused about this, like I didn't understand, and it took a minute to sink in. I was like, well, how come on here it goes up to 31 and it starts at 11? Like, these are the paths, the white things, you know, the white parts are the paths, and the major arcana is 22 paths. Like, why isn't the Fool 1? I mean 0. And then let's see if I have it on here. Fool is, yeah, Alpha. Yeah, why isn't the Fool 0? And then Beth, yeah, Beth is 1, which is the Magus. They call the Magus, which is the magician. Now the Alpha and the Beth, those are the names of the Hebrew alphabet. I know I'm throwing a lot at you. And let's say Alpha in English would be ox. Beth in English would be house. So I'm not quite sure. I haven't clicked in my brain, you know, the light, the hermit's light hasn't gone off on what all these mean. Like ox and house. You know, like why the Hebrews, or why whoever converted the language into English said that that's what it meant. You know, I don't know, but I'm working on that one. I'm trying to figure that out. But anyway, so I was like, well, why isn't it 0, 1, whatever? But, and this is so I bought this off Amazon because this whole thing has it all in a nutshell where I can look at it and be like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, because I was drawing this thing 100 times. Didn't like look quite nice, but so you have the 10 circles, which how can I explain those? Those are trying to think how I can explain these. It's also what people use for path working. The Kabbalah, they can use it. How can I explain what the spears are? Well, okay, over here, and this is why this thing is good. Like the spears are, like the bottom is earth, okay? And that's like our body, our sensations, our physical being. And then the top is our self, our true higher self. And other spears are our like spiritual love, our spiritual purpose, our willpower, our love, our self as an individual, our feelings, our thoughts, which is mind versus emotions, and then our subconsciousness and our desires, hidden desires, you know, sexual stuff. So it's the cosmic, us connected to the universe, are the spears, and our oneness with everything, like everything is connected and everything was created by God, if you believe that. So it's that versus our consciousness of knowing that we are connected. And this right here gives a good like description. Sorry, I stopped for a minute. It's because there's 10 circles. So then the Fool, which would be 0, starts at 11. Like, duh. So, and there's 22. So we're going from 11, which is the Fool, to the N, which is the world. So it brings us to 31. No, 32. Is that the world? 32. Yep, that's the world. Okay. So that's because that kept, you know, when I didn't have this diagram, that kept throwing me off. Like I didn't understand, like why I don't understand. Like it started at 11. Now the Thoth deck puts the changes where the Emperor is, I think, too, but it reverses the Strength and the Justice. So 19 and 22, Strength and Justice. Okay, so on this it didn't, but I'm pretty sure Thoth puts Justice as 8 and Strength as 11. But RIDER-WAITE, who was also in the Golden Dawn group with Thoth, changed it because of the zodiac sign. Because if you go down the list and you put the starting with Aries, the Emperor, if you start with the Emperor and you go down the majors, okay, let me see here, majors, so Magician is Gemini. Okay, so maybe you don't start with the Fool. So wait, is Magician Gemini? Well, High Priestess is Cancer. Empress is Taurus. Okay, so but still, if you start at the Emperor being Aries on the wheel, which is the 12 houses wheel, so you might want to know about that too. Okay, so yes, start with Aries at the Emperor. Aries is the Emperor. There's Aries, Taurus. Taurus is the Hierophant. Lovers is Gemini. Okay. Chariot is Cancer. So we're going by the zodiacs in order. So 8 after Chariot, 7, which is Cancer, would be Leo. But they had Justice. Well, Justice is associated with Libra, which won't come yet. So I'm not sure why. Well, I am sure why, because so anyway, that's why there's a discrepancy with that. So now that would also show up on this too, so you have to watch which way you want to view it. At first I was thinking, okay, maybe Thoth was right, but now that as I read further and realized it had to do with the zodiacs, and then I laid it out just the other day when I was doing the Marcel's Tarot, I figured out that yes, 8 should be Strength because that's Leo, and Libra is associated with the scales, you know. So now they also, I think I read, or I read an article, I read a lot, so Garden Tarot. So, but in order not to give away, because Thoth, Aleister Crowley, I keep calling him Thoth, Aleister Crowley was giving away all this information, which was supposed to be a secret society, but he wanted to make some mistakes, you know, so that he didn't give all the clues out. You know, I don't know. So maybe that's why I don't know what the ox and the house and the camel and the door and the window mean with the Greek alphabet, the Hebrew alphabet. But I'm still trying to figure that one out. And it's funny because when I grew up, not funny, but just how life flows for you, especially if you're into all this kind of stuff. When I was younger, I grew up very Roman Catholic. I was adopted, but my father, adoptive parents that raised me from 3 months on, my adoptive father, his mother always wanted him to be a priest. So whenever the priest was up there doing the Holy Communion, my father was, repeating what the priest was saying. So I guess that was his way of pretending he was a priest. And my mother, she thought she was half nun. By the way, she's down and not up. But anyway, that's a whole other story. That's in the book. But point being, okay, so I was raised, church every Sunday, never ate meat on Friday, went to confession every time it was time to go. I'm sitting there, in the box, trying to make up things, what they do wrong. But my next door neighbor, who was one of my little girl best friends, was Orthodox Jewish. And they went to synagogue, and they did the whole, real Jewish. So, I would go to her church, her synagogue sometimes. And, it was way different than the Catholic Mass. And I would also go to, because I went to CCDs, all growing up and stuff like that. But I would go to her, I don't know, it wasn't called CCDs, but I would go to her class, and we'd be learning the Hebrew alphabet. That's what we would be learning. So it's probably way in my subconscious why I'm drawn to all this, like Kabbalah and stuff. So that was just a side note. So, because if you don't understand this, the Kabbalah, then it's not gonna make sense to you. I mean, you can look at the cards, read them intuitively if you want. Now, the Kabbalah is also, where did I write it? It's also associated with the Rose Cross, which is, it's associated with so many things. And I thought I wrote it on here. Did I? Oh, I wrote it over here. These are the book notes that I did not want to, I wanted to keep because I took so many notes from the book. So the Rose Cross is a teaching of the esoteric knowledge that Crowley had and putting it with the Christian beliefs, the Christian beliefs about Jesus and God, which this is my basis. This is what I've always felt about the tarot, that it's not evil, that it is based on, for me, I guess you could say Christianity, but because I was raised Catholic, it's based on a lot of Catholic symbolism. Even in Mass, you got the cup, the chalice, okay? You got the wafer, which is circle, which is a disc. You have, there's no wand. What's air? Well, the book is like the sword, because the sword is God's truth, and I think some decks might have a book as something, but the sword is God's truth. No one can God sees everything. So if you think you're getting away with something, maybe you're not. Karma's a bitch, and I believe in karma. So, and then air would be, so if the Bible's the sword, the host is the pentacle, the chalice is cups, and air would be just the breath we breathe, so I don't know, we could contemplate on that. But the rose cross is also the belief that of all, that God is the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. He is the all. And I think it's discussed as him as the all in Crowley's book. And then, like I said, the 22 major arcanas are related to the paths, our life's path on the tree of life, how high we get in this enlightenment process on this journey in this lifetime. And like Fool is path 11, Magician is path 12, Lovers is path 17, you know, that kind of thing. So there is a lot to know. So colors, numerology, the meaning of so many things. Again, if you have the Seven of Swords, you might know what the meaning of Seven of Swords is, but also know what the 7 means. Let's see, colors, numbers, zodiacs, planets, definitely planets. And I like this one. It has the archangels for each sphere. I want to say something more about the spheres, but I feel like I'm not saying something. Let me see what my notes are on. Well, and then also the whole tree, we all have feminine and masculine sides within us, as does God, you know, energies. Let's see, the yin, the yang, g, with the G, the thing hanging down, is the male. That's how I remember. And the yin is the female. The right side is the male, the left side is the female, with the pillars there on the, let's see. Okay, the spheres are, okay, the 10 spheres are our 10 levels of influence and our state of consciousness in our life. So what has influenced us, how it's influenced us, like the love, the our sexual energy, our justice. Have we gotten justice? Were we denied justice? Did we get inflicted with justice? You know, how these spheres are all our state of consciousness that opens our eyes to lead up to the top. Okay, which is Kether, which is the crown chakra, which is enlightenment, which is connection to spirit, connection to the universe, connection to oneness. So my battery is dying. I think that's all I'm going to say for now. So do not be scared of it, but just know that it is very deep. You should know those few things, like I said, colors, numbers, maybe sexual magic stuff, the Kabbalah for sure, numeral, you know, just everything I said. I don't know, chakras. So just know all that going into it, because that's going to help. And let me just look real quick before my okay, yeah, and just have an open mind, take your time. I am going to read what I highlighted again. Just sorry, my phone battery did go dead, so I didn't make it. Oh, and then the elements, fire, water, air, and earth, know that. And then also I forgot to mention, and you know, I don't know, I think you might mention it in this, I don't remember because I read it a long time ago, but the 12 major arcanas are also related to the book of Revelations. So me, myself, and I, I'm going to dive into that next at some point, because I found that very interesting. And you know, obviously judgment is the judgment day, when the heavens open up and God comes down, and they say he decides who people rise from the dead and whether they go to hell or heaven. I have a different view on that, but you know, but it's when basically, you know, heaven opens up and there's heaven on earth, and the righteous survive, and the lion lays down with the lamb, you know, all that kind of stuff. I've never read the Bible, so just so you know, even though I think all those Catholic masses are in my subconscious somehow, somewhere. I always felt very connected to Jesus Christ. So, and Mother Mary. So anyway, so I'm interested in learning more about that, how they're connected. So actually I have in my Amazon cart, you know, Revelations for Dummies book, one of those books, which I love, you know. Yeah, so I can kind of, you know, I'm not reading the Bible, number one, and I'm not reading the whole book of Revelations. I just need a quick fix, you know, and then if I decide to go deeper, I will. So that was just a quick note that, you know, if you do know all of that, that's great. That would probably help you with this. But I hope you enjoyed this. If there's something that I forgot that you need to know with the Thoth, leave it in the comments below for other people to know. And you know, the number thing, his adding up all the numbers, that's kind of, I have to reread that because, you know, it kind of lost me there. But numerology is very important. So, and numerology is important in Lenormand too, just so you know. So, because if you, well, okay, we're not going to go there. That's too much talking. But, so next I will do my Marseille's tarot deck book review. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.